This is for the black men that are harassing and threatening me because they found out I have a half-white son. First of all, it's not that you're black that I didn't date you. It's that most of you speak to women like you're standing on a prison yard, and I don't find that attractive. Secondly, no one complains when black men date outside of their race and give their wealth to women outside of their race. But you have a problem when you see a black woman that has dated outside of their race. Is it because you're trying to convince us that we were undesirable when the fact is you're the one that's undesirable and you only have a certain amount of options and we figured it out?
That first opening clip is from a black conservative commentator by the name of Sharika Soals. That is her name on Twitter. And if you look at her profile, she says, host of the Divested Diary podcast, writer and content creator at The Gateway Pundit, a child of God. And she typically covers a lot of content largely directed at the black community, not talking to the black community, but talking at the black community. For example, let's take this post here. The active shooter in Atlanta is a black man. This other situation here. These two men killed 8 black people this week, Eric Adams and Scooter Bryce. If they were killing black women, the Democrats would care. So most of our content has to do with pretty much talking about black people to white people. But you probably don't believe me. Let's check out this particular clip.
Really, really evil happening all over the world. And the people who should be calling it out, like our government, seem to be completely silent and complacent with what's happening. White people are under siege. And it's gotten so bad that even hate crimes committed against them and their children are pretty much being dismissed as whatever. And I do mean actual hate crimes, America. The Las Vegas police recently arrested 8 out of 10 high school students for the beating death of Jonathan Lewis Jr., a 17-year-old white kid who was protecting his smaller friends from 15 rabid thugs. And we all know what would happen if the races were reversed. Liberals would take to the street and protest and be banging on the doors of the White House demanding justice and laws be changed. But because it's a white kid, it's just being dismissed. And in my opinion, that is unacceptable. That is evil, and that is cause for alarm.
In this particular clip.
Happy Black History Month, America. It's time to talk about the illusion of white supremacy. White supremacy is a fear-mongering tool that is used by Democrats every 4 years to scare black people away from voting for conservative policies, in my opinion. But you know what isn't an illusion? Mugshots. Mugshots of black men committing gun violence in their communities. Mugshots of black women committing child abuse against their children. Do you think it's going to hurt my feelings if you tell me, a black person, that some of us are dangerous and probably shouldn't be a part of our society? No, I'm not going to cry because it's true. And it's time we talk about the real threat to America, and it's not white supremacy that's threatening my race.
So again, white people are under attack and white supremacy is not real. Now that's interesting because she says she's a divester and she has a baby by a white man. But why is she so concerned with black people? But you know what? We'll let that slide. We'll get into another position that she's been pushing lately. And she's been pushing lately that, you know what? It's very important for black women to be classy. Now, if you can look at this particular post, we used to have formal manners and fashion that embody class and sophistication. That's very interesting. We must admit, those women in this particular picture, they look gorgeous. They look beautiful. Anytime, any era, these African-American women would be lovely. Give them a round of applause. She's also pushing other content like ghetto culture is dying. The women are realizing classy is the key to respect. Let's check out a little bit of this video. Let's see what's going on.
Being classy is in, modesty is in. Being a classy woman is top tier. You at the top of the line because you don't see a lot of women with class. You don't see a lot of women being classy. You see a lot of women dressing just like Sexy Red and portraying themselves on social media like Sexy Red. So once you see a woman that's just classy, it just makes you look at her totally different. It shows that she got morals. It shows that she got some type of substance about herself. And I'm here to tell y'all that it's okay to be covered. It's okay to save yourself. It's okay to cover your body. You can be fully covered and you can still get the same attention as a woman that's half naked on social media. So I just like my new aesthetic because I'm in my skin.
Now, the young lady who by the name is c.lovey2 on TikTok, she's saying that she used to be, showing all of her stuff on the internet, but she no longer does that. She's doing something that is classy because being classy is in. And I do agree, being classy is in. But Sharika Soals says something on that particular post. Ghetto culture is dying. The women are realizing classy is the key to respect. That's interesting because do you guys know who Sharika Soals used to be? Can I get a dun 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 sound effect? This was Sharika Soals. Her name used to be Miracle. She used to be a ghetto gagger. If you've seen that movie series, stop the show. We can't show it to you here. But yeah, she used to do humiliating you-know-what acts with Caucasian men, but stop the show. Don't believe clapping sounds! She's also done scenes with black men. The ones that she says she doesn't like, yeah, she wasn't discriminatory with the box, right? But I want to talk about this because this is very important for me to discuss because Sharika Soals, who has a baby by a white man, and she's always liked white men, and she definitely loves talking negatively about the black community, although these stories are true. My question is this, well, where is the white husband that she's supposed to get? The reality is they never came. Like, look at some of these things here she's trying to prove on June 28th. If you've never met a proper speaking suburban raised black woman, it's because you're poor. It's not my fault. You hang around the ghetto, we exist. I don't know who she's trying to impress with that because, hey, white zaddies still won't wife you, even though you have a kid for one. Look at this other clip. Storytime music! One time I was dating this white guy and we went on a date to a local bar that served drinks and food. I was 22. 3 black men approached us and began to give him dirty looks and try to talk to me. He was visibly scared. I went to the bathroom and when I came back, he was gone. What about the white guys ever since then? Seems like nobody's sticking around you now. See, I want to talk about this because, I do want Donald Trump to win. Many black people want Donald Trump to win. And there's a divide between a lot of blacks who are supporting Donald Trump. It's not because blacks trust him or like him. They just hate the Democrats and hate Biden. And he's the only real feasible choice, right? But then you have, on the other hand, so many people like the Myrons, the Sneakos, that are almost like on the alt-right, like Andrew Tate. People like Sharika Soals that will do so much to seek so much attention from these people and get nothing. This lady has been assassinating the black community, talking about the black community to these people as if she's actually in the community. Like, again, let's look at this post. We used to have formal manners and fashion that embody class and sophistication. Who are you talking to? You're not talking to black people for the most part. These are whites that comment under this. And do you think they actually respect her? No. No race or community respects anybody who talks negatively about their group to other people because you're a traitor to your race. So when you're a traitor to the race, you get crumbs from their basket. That's what you get. I'm gonna tell you a story. Storytime music! I told you I lived in Poland for almost 6 years. And I used to have a lot of African friends. I don't even want to talk about what country in particular, because I don't want to single anybody out, but you had 2 types of Africans. Neither one of these groups were racist against anybody. They loved all people. But we had the groups from Africa that came over that, number one, they were very proud of who and what they were, what their tribe was, what their country was, despite the issues that may be there. And they never talked negatively about their community, especially in front of foreigners. In my honest opinion, this was something that was not seen very often, but they were there, right? And then you had those Africans that were living in Poland, and whoever would listen, they would talk negatively about their country, the corruption in the country. They would talk negatively about the women in their community, how all they wanted to do was use men and take their money. And they wouldn't just do it, to other blacks. They would do it in front of other Europeans. The Europeans didn't want to seem racist, so they just wouldn't say anything and they would just let them talk. But whenever they got into friendships or relationships with these people, and whenever there was a disagreement, the European or the Polish person, whoever it may be, would bring up the fact that, hey, well, this is why you're here in the country. This is why people don't do this. This is why you're that. And they would take it, they would be very offended by it because now they felt that the person was being racist towards them. But the reality is that once you started doing that, they had no respect for you. And when somebody doesn't respect you, they're not going to open heaven and earth for you because you're a traitor. And this is why Sharika Soals has been doing all of this simping for the white right, the extreme white right, and she can't get anywhere. There's no white husband that she has. She didn't get any money for this. She's not successful for this, and she's just used as a tool. But when you look at some of the brothers that have stayed in the black community, that have stayed in the African community somehow, they're doing well. I'll mention something right now. I know one guy personally, Wode Maya. I've met him many times since I've been living in Africa. I've met him a few times in person. And since I've been living in Africa, hey, Africa is a tough market. It's a tough place. But this guy has built generational wealth working with his group and sticking with his people. Okay, he had a Chinese girlfriend at one point, and the pro-black community jumped on his ass. He got rid of her and he married Miss Trudy. All right, he's been going strong ever since, and he's owning what he has as a black man. We could talk about other people. Look at Tariq Nasheed, what he does. Look at Boyce Watkins, look at what he does. Look at Corey Holcomb and look what they do. They don't have to do all of this silly stuff to demean their community. In fact, they get more pull in the black community than Sharika Soals will ever get over there. And you're just dehumanizing your own people, and then you're dehumanizing yourself. And then I don't understand what was the need that she needed to do to defend white people. White people already have that advantage. They own everything in the world. They don't need black people to get out there and say they're being discriminated against, right? You're just trying to get some cool points. White people run everything across the world. They don't need you, a person from a disadvantaged background, to defend them, all right? But when you get slammed on social media from your ex-adult video past, they are never there to help you. I wonder why that is. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.